So he's
Yeah.
lying a lot in there too.
So he's not even educated when he's going to educate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All good. This is good though, because if I came in here and was like, "Oh fuck, Ryan, you actually have a lot of stuff in place. I actually don't know if I can help you." Whereas I'm seeing all these things, so it's all good news. The more bad stuff that I can find in this call, the better.
Yeah, when
Because
things are
then,
flowing well, it flows, dude.
yeah.
You know, that first week it was fucking 9K, but you know.
What do you think changed from then in terms of, let me see, lead flow? Like, why do you think it died down a bit?
He just got super hyped up right away. But then we had a conversation talking about more quality conversations versus amount, because the manager was getting him to aim out for 60. So I feel like he
Mm.
was wasting his time because he reached out to a whole bunch of people who weren't following me trying to sell them. And so I think he kind of got burnt out because he spent like all this time with like completely unqualified people, not even inbound, not even people who followed me, you know. And so I feel like maybe he got a little bit hopeless because he was focusing on the wrong lever.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't sound like, from what you're explaining to me anyway, in terms of like, I want a setter to be literally responding to me within 5 minutes, no matter what day it is, like
Yeah.
always on Slack or whatever communication you have with him. And he doesn't sound like the most disciplined guy ever. So yeah, we're gonna, and he didn't even respond to me when I clearly showed you what I could do. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's done. But yeah, we'll get on to that. So basically, next thing is the funnel, bro. So
Hmm.
took a look at, let me just pop this up. So we'll go into both Instagram and YouTube shortly, but the the funnel itself is like, how would I describe it? It's just a little confusing, and also nobody cares about, no matter how good your program is, nobody cares about the name. They just care about your face.
Hmm.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in a funnel like this. What was this made on? ClickFunnels? Oh,
I
wait,
I'm
yeah.
on Go
Sorry,
High
I wasn't
Level.
here. What was it, bro?
I'm on Go High Level.
Yeah. So we're gonna level up everything. This is more like it. This is what we're
Okay.
gonna get for you. By the way, this looks kind of big, but
Hmm.
this is more of what we're gonna be looking at. This is maximized, or this is optimized for phone viewing. Nobody's gonna look at this on a computer. That's why it looks kind of big.
Right.
I'll send you the link to this, but this is the funnel we're gonna use.
Hmm.
Because it's a lot more professional and it's going to be a lot more simple in terms of what we're going to get. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, so if I go back here, let's do this. That's the funnel. Cool. We skip scarcity. So basically, obviously, scarcity works best for webinars because it's like a one-time event, and the cadence you're doing those on is once a month.
Hmm.
If you get to like, let's say, a few months down the line, we get over 200K followers, we may look at doing them twice a month. But for
Hmm.
now, the perfect cadence is once a month because um, people kind of have to wait a bit and they feel like they're going to miss out. So usually that works best for them. But even what works really well, and I like, obviously what you're doing right now is like static conversion where it's like they can join at any time and there's no real urgency. What my mentor taught me was, if you can just get somebody to say like, look, we usually have this written down here, which I'm going to go into. This is called shortening the sales cycle. Let's actually go through this now. So basically, what they say is like, so let's say if you were trying to buy from me, like, hey Ryan, so like usually everyone that comes through our funnel, we always make sure that we, have a certain timeline that we come to a conclusion, and that's usually around within like 7 days. And in these 7 days, what I'll do is I'll give you all the info that you need to make, your educated buying decision with safety. And what you're doing there is, if they don't join, because he runs an info product, and obviously I bought from him.
Hmm.
If they don't join within a certain time frame, what you're doing is you're punishing them for being like, if you don't join within these 7 days, sure, you give them a bit of space maybe to make a decision or whatever. And this is only like if you don't handle it too well in the call and you can't get them closed there. But if you're letting them go on the call, this is what you say to them. It's like, and this will be a lot of the case because some people just, are unclosable. But if you look at this and you say, okay, you have 7 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reward you if you're an action taker and you actually join within 7 days. If you don't, you can never join again, or the price will increase. And what he did is he got a shit ton of people to join that were in his pipeline because he was like, if you don't join this week, I will never let you in.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it obviously shows people that you don't need them. Of course, we would like to have them inside the mentorship, but actually using real scarcity, whether it comes to our price increases or whether it comes to the amount of spots that we're actually holding open for people in the webinar, like real scarcity is and urgency is massively underused because nobody actually uses it because they don't know how to use it. So what we need to do is implement some of that when it comes to like actually having a specific window or timeline for people to buy from you and putting pressure on them because right now there's no like follow-up process, there's no clear system whether it's before the call or after the call to actually convert people, and there's no like beginning and end point really. It's just kind of
Right.
like all just about enough together to where they know how to get on the call and then they come for education.
Right.
So just making you aware of all these things about how your business should run. Obviously I'm going to implement them, but just to get you to understand each of these different points, because like if I just come in and like put all these things in place and you don't understand them, then that's not going to work.
Yep.
So real scarcity, whether it's a webinar or it's not, is extremely important. Next thing that we're going to do, I said, is basically the webby and like the webinar, and that's going to be around a unique angle that I'm going to get. I just need to get some more info on this call, and then I can make the angle. And what we'll do is we'll promote that once you get back into Miami, really create some hype around it, get everyone on a call, give them the best offer that you've ever made, give them a lot of bonuses, and make them an offer to where they have to simply work with you or else they will simply fail.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be the plan for us. I'll look at what we'll do in the meantime, but overall, what I want to do over these next few weeks is, or next, as we promote that, is really clean up the back end because when it comes to, let's say, the funnel, when it comes to the setter, when it comes to the, it's what I like to call a value for sales cycle, when we're sending them specific assets to start conversations, like you definitely have a bunch of people inside your following that you probably haven't either started conversations with or haven't provided enough value with in terms of like one-to-one conversation. And it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like your setup is focusing on outbound, which is really stupid
Mm-hmm.
when you have such a when you have a big enough following, which is growing as well. So yeah, that's the plan. I'll go into more detail on that in our next call. In
Okay.
terms of social proof, you made 23K. Is that your top month with fitness coaching?
Fitness coaching, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about mentorship clients so far? I know that you have one guy that made 5K in 1 week.
Yeah, so Mo, no, I have a 4 week screenshot of him doing 9.3.
Okay, cool. Okay. Do you want to, because I just want to see as well, a big part of our marketing over the next few months is going to be your client results. And I know you're working hard with that, but I want to see if I can offer some insights from Dara because Dara's gotten one person from 12 to 34K. He's gotten one person from 2 to 26K. This is in Europe, so more in dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gotten a bunch of people from like 0, 1, 2 to over 10, 12K. So I'm trying to think how's the best way to basically to do this. If I take you through, yeah, let's take you through his webinar presentation and then see what you can take from that.
Okay.
Let's do that. Because I want to get you the best results possible for um, that's like a non-negotiable with my clients is like just
Okay.
having good results. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, all this is at the time he had like 6 fitness coaches that scaled 6K or scaled to 10 to 26K a month. So it was the 6 fitness formula because it was a 6 step process that 6 fitness coaches followed to get to 10 to 26K a month. So
Gotcha.
basically, how he did it was let's get to the first. I'm trying to think, is this the best way to show it to you? Let me see. Because it doesn't really give away everything. How can let me look at the school group. Um, you know what? I kind of have his service delivery memorized in my head. How about you share your screen and go through your service delivery, and then I can see what we can improve, or just make it more efficient because it's all about them getting results at the end of the day. So
Right.
I think it's your Notion. You share that, and then we can
I got the
see what we can change.
school, and then Notion combines with it.
Okay.
Okay. All good.
Yep.
All right. Welcome video. This is welcoming. Basic. We got building your foundation, so a little mindset stuff in here. Preparing
Yep.
them. Mindset mastery. A little bit more preparation. Fundamentals about habits. So that's just some basic fundamentals. But then we get into social media growth and optimization. So I'm somewhat going through and redoing this. But, we got starter packs. That's basically like I'm giving them an overview of what they got to understand about social media. So the way a lot of the video courses laid out is like it's the understanding, and then on the one-on-one calls we apply it specifically to them. So you see what
Okay.
we got here. It's like finding your wow factor, setting up your profile. At first, quantity over quality. They got to get post out there, review top performing, then quality over quantity.
Where are you at with creating content for them, or how does their content creation process work?
So it's more coming up with the messaging for them, helping them get really clear on, their solution and then what their ideal client's pain points would be. And people tend to really like this Myra board right here. This helps them really understand the content creation process. But I don't do anything in terms of make this exact piece of content, if that's what you're referring to.
So let me see how I ask you this. So if you were to kind of describe to me an overview of let's say you're looking at your school right now and we
Mhm.
have all these Miro boards, what is it that you help them with specifically if you give them an overview of the mentorship? Because obviously you're giving them all these trainings and you're having the one-to-one calls with them, but what is it on those one-to-one calls that you're doing? Are you reviewing their content? Are you reviewing their sales calls? What is it that you generally focus on those one-to-ones?
It depends on the phase. If we're going over content first, if they have content, then I'm going over and reviewing like, okay, what's the good content, what's the adjustments they can make. Like, hey, here's how you set up a proper hook. There wasn't a good hook here, right? Or try out this piece of content, right? So I like them go through here first so they have the understanding, and then we start to apply it to them specifically. Most people just aren't starting up content. They have some content already rolling. But it's getting the implement, story flow and getting them really clear on the solution they provide so they know the content to make to target the people with the specific pain points, right? So
Yeah.
people generally have they like this. I'm like, okay, over here is where you're gonna bring your people. Over here is where your people are at, right? And right in the middle is the content that's bridging the gap in between the two.
Yeah. Got you. Okay. What you can do is you just send me an invite link to that school group. I'll go through it a
Okay,
little bit and look at
let's see.
what we can do to change it.
Is your email
Because
easy?
yeah, just send me that. See that link there, the group link. Just put that in the chat of the call, and I can just join it now.
Gotcha.
And
See if I can't find the chat in this switch. Oh, over here.
so obviously, if you to sum it up into, because like it's obviously when it comes to like I'll look through it, but obviously when it comes to your pillars, like obviously mindset or Instagram's a big one because obviously that ties in with content.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously another one is going probably over how to actually deliver results for people. Another one could be sales. Another one could be your offer and sales probably tying to each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I had to kind of sum up what Dara's fulfillment is and why it works so well, is because he helps them. Number one, because he holds them accountable to actually doing the shit week in, week out, and they get it done. But he also finds a way to make it easy for them to take action.
Right.
So he's helping them, like he's giving them he kind of copy and paste it for the same clients, but it's basically like the same hooks and the same type of. So whether they work with like males or females, he has from his first few clients like built out actual hooks and content ideas based on their target demographic. So for them to get started with content, which is something that they're not comfortable with, he makes that as easy as possible. And if you can look back at your client Mo, who was a top performer, if you can look back at why he succeeded compared to other people so far. I know you don't have a massive amount of data to go off, but if you can look at why he succeeded and start to model that for other people, why do you think it was that he saw better results
So
than others?
it was largely story flow. I focus a lot on the story flow with people.
Mm,
So he uploaded a lot in there every day. So we got the story flow module, but then seamless call to actions, which is kind of like more about the story flows, which is kind of like calling out the specific pain points inside of the stories through storytelling and stuff like that. So you're becoming vulnerable, but then also you're calling out people's pain points, not in a direct way, but talking with them, like you said.
yeah. Okay. And just to show you me other modules, there are so obviously we have Instagram call to
Call to
action,
action.
sales calls,
There's sales,
offer.
business development, how to get offer creation, funnel creation, optimization. That's just like, okay, we implement a video sales letter, a little bit about the school, funnel overview. How to get offer creations. Just I got to redo this one. I looked back and I was like, oh shit. But then kind of go over the pricing and then closing.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything on service delivery?
With them instead of here, so they get everything,
Yeah.
pre-made forms, the softwares, and then quick client success module, basically explaining like how to guarantee client success.
Okay. Let me see. So basically, all that Dara did, just look at this, just if there's any immediate changes that we can make.
And here's kind of how I break it down for people.
Yeah.
So it's like we set the Instagram bio. He had some real people who wanted to join, so I gave him a little client acquisition there, next steps, and then story flow.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Just looking. And what's the offer that you give them to sell to people?
Right now, it's we work for 6 months or until you hit 10,000.
Yeah, 6 months. 6 months of yeah. See, this is the thing that we ran into. Obviously, I know you're starting out, but
Yep,
again, it comes down to valuing yourself, and it's like 6 months of weekly one-to-ones
it's a lot.
for 4K is yeah, is a lot. I don't mind the thing that I don't mind is the actual length of it because it gives them time and you can make come around to them. But like, there's two different kind of offers here. You have a marketing offer and you have a sales offer. Your
Hmm.
marketing offer is like the goal of working with you, which is your 10K a month. your sales offer is your guarantee. Now, I don't know
Mhm.
if you have a guarantee, but the the guarantee is basically, let's say that you don't make back your investment, or like this is the worst case that happens if we don't work together. If you don't make back your investment, if you don't make X amount a month, usually it's like if you don't double or make back your investment. And then the
Right.
marketing goal is what you're aiming for and goal of working with you, and realistic goals. So 10K is a realistic goal. I'm just trying to zoom out here and look at, okay, we have a pretty solid YouTube. I know you've built it up over time, but we have a pretty solid YouTube. We have a solid Instagram. I'm trying to find out, like, obviously there's a disconnect between people trying to join the mentorship here, and
Mhm.
I'm zooming out. And obviously, like, there's a lot of stuff that we can put in place, but definitely having at least one setter to actually create value driven conversations, because the it's not just about relying on inbound, but it's actually about starting conversations with people that follow you, and
Right.
maxing out new conversations, and also maxing out old conversations that have been fucked up by the setter because well, I don't want to blame them exactly. They probably just weren't educated on how to follow up or how to actually provide enough value, because they maybe didn't have like the sales assets that we're going to create. But
Mhm.
like overall, if I'm trying to look at a machine that's going to pump out at least, for your mentorship anyway, let's say 40, 50K a month in the next, like, say 30 to 60 days, I'm focusing on one really clear funnel, one offer. Okay, we can have the fitness coaching as like a call to action word, but
Mhm.
no funnel for it, and just
Right.
keep that really simple.
Yep.
And we have one clear funnel. We funnel them to YouTube, and we make sure we really pump out good YouTube that's going to convert people 3 times a week minimum.
Yep.
And we have a really good setter in place that's going to start and continue conversations, and a good pre-call and post-call process to give people a clear timeline to convert, making them not just feel like a number, and also stop wasting your time with people who don't actually have money, so we can pre-qualify them on Calendly or with a setter calling them to actually acknowledge their application and get the real answers, because people will lie to you on their
Mhm.
application. So
Yep.
like just having some clear pillars in place for the next week, and then we also have our webinar. Another thing will be like tracking our sales to make sure we're, actually can set KPIs. But overall, it's just about cleaning things up, because right now what you have isn't bad. Like,
Mhm.
I've seen so much worse. Like Dara, when I first started working with him, he literally had a booking link from Go High Level that was built out by another agency. He had no Calendly. He had literally nothing, and he was making like 40K a month or something.
Mhm.
But so you can still make good money, but it's just a mess, and you end up working way more than you should. For me, it's like, okay, you work on the client fulfillment. We probably need to look at a way to change the fact that you're doing weekly. I would do bi-weekly one-to-ones, and I
Okay.
would stack them all on the same days, and I would just put maybe a little bit more attention one day of the week to where you're not taking calls, to really make sure, like sending them voice messages, or they can send you a loom. But
Mhm.
overall, you you don't get paid for the amount of time that you spend with people. You get paid with the amount of money that you make them. So
Mhm.
like if you're going to transform somebody on a fitness business, they're not going to care about you being with them as your best friend every single day. They're going to care about the results you deliver for them. So it's overall coming up with a plan of leverage to, like, how can we put in the right amount to where we still get good client results, but we're not. Because imagine we run a webinar and we have your offer right now and we close 20 people at 4K. Like, that will be a nightmare for you fulfillment wise, because now you've 21 to ones. That's 20 hours a week that you're going to be taken away. And sure, we can get a coach in to eventually help you, but for now, you need to be the one in fulfillment until we like really scale you up and you become more in demand.
Right.
And we see a lot of students,
The
but
way I
like,
was trying to go about it is have steps to it, so they only book in calls after they complete. Okay, these are the next steps. That could be a
yeah,
good idea possibly as well. It's like really structured out phases. I got the phases kind of there, but like really structuring them out. So it's like, okay, we're only taking 6 to 10 calls per client over that 6 month period versus,
mm,
24.
here's actually something. This is another mentorship I was in, but I'm terrible for like spending money. Like, I literally spend everything, but I invested in myself.
Mhm.
And do you know who Paul Daly is?
Paul Daly now.
He was You know who Iman is, of course.
Yeah.
So he was Iman's CEO of Educate, the biggest education like info product of all time. And I invested in his mentorship. And what he had was something called D7. So it's Paul Daly. So it's D7 or Daily 7. And what D7 stood for was 7 calls to get you to 7 figures.
Mm,
And this was so simple, but like nobody thinks to do it because I think people just lack the ability to think, to be honest. Like a lot of people are just doers, which will get you to a certain point, but you just need to think as well.
mhm,
So if I'm looking at that and I invested in it and I got 7 calls to get me to 7 figures, I got number one, my call with Paul, and then I got other one-on-one calls with people inside of his coaching program that would specialize in different things. So I had a one-to-one call with him for offer refinement. I had a one-on-one call with him for VSL. I had a
mhm.
one-on call with his team for sales. I had a one-on call with his team for um, generating eyeballs, so attention. I had a one-on-one call to converting those eyeballs to liquidation engines, which is converting them. So if you can, I honestly think, bro, 16 weeks max for your
Mhm.
program, and what you can do potentially is like, because like there's no risk to you if you don't really get them results, because if they put in the work, they're going to get the results.
Yeah.
So if we do it for 16 weeks and you do like bi-weekly one-to-ones, you actually package it up in a way. And when we set it on webinars, we're gonna have a lot of bonuses that I'll help you create. But when you're looking at the 16 weeks and you can put those into 8 calls, and we could come up with something around, obviously, like you've certain branding, whether it's badass or whether it's
Yeah.
the terms that you use. But if we come up with like a structure for those 8 calls, to like, or it could be 10 calls to get them to 10K a month, and then
Yeah, I
they
was
complete
thinking
like
10
these,
calls to 10K.
yeah. And it's, let me see how many, 10, yeah, we'll come up with a timeline for that. But I really like that structure when it comes to, because Dara won't listen to me on this, but he sells 6 months
Mhm,
at the same price point as you in euros, a bit more expensive, not much. And he does bi-weekly one-to-ones. I got him to change from weekly to bi-weekly,
mhm.
and he has noticed no difference in his client results. Like the guy that he took from 12 to 34K in 2 months, he had bi-weekly one-to-ones with him.
Yeah.
So
It could increase
basically,
community
yeah,
show up as well. I noticed the community calls, a little inconsistent or people that just don't show up,
yeah,
and that's valuable, especially sharing on stories.
yeah. I know. So I know that's really good. So I didn't plan to go over that specifically, but for service delivery now, we'll come up with like a way to package it. We just need like a clear process to result now. So if you can put together for, and I'll help you kind of finalize it, but it's like week
Mhm.
1, week 2, all the way up until, should we do? I think 10 weeks is a bit short. Let's say anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. So it's a 3 or 4 month program, because that's enough for them to see results.
Mhm.
And what you can do is either we have an upsell program to where they have weekly one-on-ones with you to get to 20K a month, or we can just keep them on a retainer to, of like,
Community
I don't know,
access.
yeah, no, so no, it's more of like a retainer to keep the one-to-ones, but like
Mm,
they have like bi-weekly, and that really keeps them on, or we
mhm.
upsell them. So the two offers that you have, and that's like something that Dara really built some really solid MRR on, is having them finish up their 4 6 months, whatever it is, and he offers them a um let me see, he offers them a higher level like done for you program. So what
Mhm.
we'll do is I'll come in, I'll help you build out like a done for you offer that gets them, so you're a bit more involved, you kind of help them a bit more with their content, but you charge like minimum 8K for it.
Mhm.
And because you've already gotten them to like a certain point where you've made them the money, and like it's like 8K and you can do payments, whatever. And if they don't take that, then you can say, no problem, I actually have this offer which I thought would even be better for you anyway. And you say that. But it's like, okay, you can continue to get the one-to-ones, and it's only like, let's say 500, 750 a month, and to keep getting these one-to-ones. 1K, 500, 750, we'll come up with something.
Right.
But overall, that's what you should have in place, is
Right.
like a way to increase the lifetime value of it, but also make sure we're not fucking ourselves with fulfillment when it comes to one-to-ones for 6 months,
Yep.
because that you'll have some people that will drop off, so it won't be like incredibly painful, but my God, like you will maybe get to like 40, 50K,
Mhm.
but you'll be like a slave unless you hire a coach. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, let's just change that up to bi-weekly and 16 weeks or 12 weeks, and it's 10 one-to-ones to get to 10K a month.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And have a specific name for those calls. And that is a really good pre-call asset that we send to them.
Hmm.
And by the time you get on the call with them, there's no more education needed, and you're purely just, you know, diagnosing them to a bigger extent. But that's a
Yeah.
good pre-call asset.
That helps.
So
'Cause I already kind of got it laid out, but like letting me know that that's what we need to do definitely helps
mm,
it out.
yeah, so just to recap on that, you have um yeah, like what I want to do, obviously I kind of said this for the next week, is like really build out the back end, so that when we focus on the webinar, that we have everything in place when it comes to the setter, when it comes to these assets that we're sending to them to nurture them, whether these are follow-up ones, whether these are pre-call ones,
Hmm.
and making sure that we have a content strategy that is going in the right direction, has a structure, and is supporting these live events. These are having call to actions. So, and it's going to be like a WhatsApp or a Telegram group that we funnel all the registrants into, and we're sending them specific assets before the event, and that builds up so much trust. And if you're in a WhatsApp group, you see like 200, 300, 400, 500 other people in there.
Hmm.
Man does this really well, and you're like interacting with them, and like you're almost like a king coming down to his peasants.
Hmm.
Like it really gives you a really good authority frame, because you're the one being followed by all these people,
Hmm.
and they're like they're reacting to obviously all the stuff that you're sending them. Obviously, you don't have chat enabled for them, but you're sending them this stuff, and everybody feels like, oh, I want to be one of the ones that gets to work one on one with Ryan. And you're really touching on this element of scarcity when you have so much demand there. And
Hmm.
that's a really good way to get people to take action, because when you're live on a webinar and you have a couple hundred people at least on there, and you're at the end going, this is the price, book in a call with me. This is the amount of spots available. If you don't take action within 24 hours, this is what you're going to, the penalty that you're going to face. It's like, and we frame it the right way where it's like, you can't get a result without me. It really isn't hard. Like, as long as we go about it the right way and we just keep rinsing and repeat it, like, I say it's not hard. There's a fuck ton that goes into these
Yeah.
events when you come to like daily emails, sending them SMSs, sending the WhatsApp group, sending like pumping out daily content. But when you actually zoom out, it's quite simple, but I wouldn't say it's easy. I'd say it's simple.
Right.
So as long as you do it the right way, and then once we, prove it, we're on ads.
Right.
But no, bro, that's really good. That's I think we're a lot more equipped for service delivery now.
Yep.
Yeah. So let me share this with you, bro, and we'll get back into this.
All right. Yeah. DM sitter just texted me saying, "Can we call today?" I don't know what's going on.
Just say what's up, and I'll hop on the call and just say,
Yeah. I said, "What's up, G?"
yeah,
Question mark. We'll see
yeah,
what's going on. Okay. Yeah. Let's get
yeah. You
back
can
into
tell them
it.
Ted said you're fired. So that's good, bro. That actually covers the next point as well. So actually, no, it doesn't. So your downsell, you said, was just the course.
Just the course for 1K.
Yeah. So this is a thing that actually really does add up, because if you think about this, if you're downselling people and you get them inside, what it does is it gets them in a buying state from you, and it disqualifies all the people who will never buy. So people may look at the downsell and think, oh, I just missed out on like a PIF or on my main program. But if you can get them inside the downsell, they get in a frame of mind of buying from you, and that qualifies them for future like bigger purchases. And
Mhm.
what you also want to do, so what we want to do for this is provide enough value where we actually have a clearly defined outcome for them. So we build out I don't know if we need to build out a clear process result for this, but what we do need to have is more value. So you said just the course. I want to include the group calls in this, and we
They get
can
those
set
too.
it. You used to?
Yeah, they get them because they're in the school already.
Okay, right. Yeah, so just value stacking the downsell a bit better. I don't know
Okay.
if you're going to include in-person masterminds in Miami um in your program, but that's another thing that we can do.
Mhm.
And they get access to that as well, even though like they may not be able to make it or you may not do it too often, that still gives them an extra bit of value. So the group calls are like to get you to make your first like 5K a month, whatever it is. We need to have a little bit better downsell. So it's just like polishing these things up. And we'll have another call tomorrow or Tuesday to really brush up on these things now that we kind of understand it. But overall, just having a better downsell is key to get people inside and at least buying from you. So I think we might increase the price, but overall 1K, bro, 4K until of course like let's just get some people in. But
Mhm.
by the time we run another webinar, I'm putting that price up to 6K like minimum. Like to get one on one with you to make 10K, it's like maybe 5K and then 6K, but every time we run the webinar and it crushes, we're increasing the price by at least 1 or 2K.
Okay.
Because you should like every mentorship. I don't know what Josh's mentorship costs, but everybody charges a lot higher than 4K
Mhm.
usually. Like Dara is an exception for some reason, but it works for him. So just increasing that price just to be wary of it.
Okay.
Do you know what Josh's program costs?
Who's Josh? Are you referring to John?
He's the other. He's the Asian looking dude, and
Oh, Josh Chang.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was charging me 5, but I've heard him close to tens. I don't know what is that. It's either 5 or 10.
yeah. Okay, interesting. I would say it's more of like a done for you than like, yeah. Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Right. So in terms of unique mechanism, this is literally what the webinar is going to be around. Is literally getting people bought in on your unique method, and that's going to be the 10 steps to 10K, or we'll frame it around something like that
Right.
because we can't use specifically client results. Um, maybe we can use yeah one or two,
Mhm.
but yeah, allow me to come up with that unique mechanism because that's going to be what the event is around, and we'll start promoting that once you get back into Miami. So obviously I kind of touched on your funnel, and what we're going to do going forward is use that Webflow one because it's clean and it is going to have one offer, one message, and literally just one thing that directs people towards it. So um, yeah, I only got that funnel a few weeks ago, and like I was trying to get it, and people were trying to charge me like 1 2K for it, and my mentor gave me like the link to it, so I can just duplicate it. But that funnel is going to convert a hell of a lot better. Like if
Mhm.
we're I'll send it to you so you can look it on your phone. It's obviously quite big right now, but if we have this and we have like a VSL here of you, and then a link for them to register, that is going to convert a lot better than your click funnels because it looks more professional, and this also just takes them directly to one action, whereas kind of like there's no kind of VSL clearly for that.
Mhm.
There's no VSL for the mentorship anyway. There was a VSL for the fitness, I think. So just
Yeah.
another few things, but that's all good. So when I'm looking at Instagram and YouTube, like what I want to do, and I think you already have this, is literally funnel people to your long form
Right.
because I don't want to waste time with people that literally just, they may be nurtured enough, but the buying cycle is too long over Instagram. Get them over to your YouTube. If I'm looking at it here, what I want to do is I don't hate this idea of you having a business channel,
Mhm.
but I personally want to keep it all in the same because you're kind of posting business stuff here anyway
Yeah.
on this one, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
So I would just put as much all the energy into one channel, and you can use this potentially as like a you can use this other one as like a channel or a channel to test. But
Hmm.
overall, I and like this obviously isn't any harm. I'm just gonna say to you that it's gonna work better if we have uh, if we have it all on the one channel.
Yep. That makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Other things I would do is only minor things. I would just get rid of. Let's see. I would just kind of get rid of your branding because your brand is just your face. Like that's what people know you for. It's not the PR accelerator, the PR mindset, or whatever it
Right.
is. So and like it obviously isn't like incredibly professional. Whereas if you just use you, who's in great shape, that will look a lot better. So let's do that.
Okay.
In terms of the YouTube, we'll go over Instagram and YouTube strategy. But what I want you to focus on, yeah, we'll analyze that on Tuesday's call. But I want you to focus on for then, if we go back to your notes, is basically a yeah. Let's see. So we'll get a setter. We'll look at content on Tuesday. I'll think about the mechanism for
Hmm.
the webinar. We may actually run that with a promotion period of just 7 days. And by the time you get back to Miami, you just turn into a psychopath and just don't shut up about it. And we
Hmm.
just go crazy for like a week because, I don't want to wait 3 weeks. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And we could do it potentially, let's say we're looking at the 13th right now. Could do it potentially 2 weeks from now. I want to do it this month anyway.
Hmm.
So we'll either do it early just over 2 weeks from now, or we'll do less than 2 weeks from now. And I'll think of the mechanism in terms of what you need to do. Just build out that clear process to results.
Okay.
Next thing, this is like some stuff that you may need to study a little bit, but this is going to make a lot of sense for you as to why you didn't get results like you should
Hmm.
have the last while. So let's see. Basically, if I I think let me see what notes are best here. Yeah. So how long is an average sales cycle? Now for you, in terms of how long it takes for you to actually follow people to sign up, whatever, on the average for everybody, it's 20 days. And I say as an average because that is like the average for most people who actually don't know how to do it. Whereas if you actually compress the time by answering all their questions, marketing is literally just successfully having a conversation with them about what needs to happen. So addressing it in the info that obviously that's another point. You could ignore that. But what I would basically I'm trying to see what I would cover here. What we're trying to do is make sure that the consumption rate and the connection rate and the education levels before the call are as high as possible. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to do that by taking them off Instagram as soon as possible. We're going to be just focus on these points here, the bottom 5 points, just to get
Hmm.
you to really understand how important this pre-call is basically the selfie video is the ultimate unscalable action. It's for reciprocity, it's for familiarity, it really builds trust. You need to take them off Instagram into a WhatsApp group as soon as possible. This is the setter's job. You increase the consumption rate by actually supporting the assets you're sending them with either selfie videos or voice notes of what you're doing. And even if they don't watch it, what you're doing is you're building goodwill with them because you're going to the effort of sending them value before the call.
Right.
Next thing is connection rate. When you're actually sending these videos, you are increasing their relationship with you because you're doing what not a lot of people are doing. And then education, obviously, if they're consuming, they're connecting with you and they're engaging before the call, they're going to be educated. So, how can we compress? I'm usually a fan of booking people in as soon as possible to make sure that that show up rate's higher. But what we've started intentionally doing for the clients is actually giving them 2 days to watch through everything so that
Hmm.
they actually have time to get educated. And you can disguise these in testimonials or other videos, like you should be making a case study breakdown of how Mo did 9.7K to
Mm.
show them that not only you are the guy, that you can help other people become the guy. And really what I'll do to make this make sense in terms of action steps for you is you basically have 4 pillars of indoctrination. What you do, how does it work? How are you going to get the same results from me? Show them case studies. Objection handlers, I'm going to give you the link to this doc so you can kind of understand it a bit more.
Okay.
But what you do, how does it work? How are you going to get me results? Objection handlers, like FAQs. And what you need to do is pretty much just be respectful. Just come from the frame of like you're being respectful of not only your time, but their time by sending them everything that they need before the call to make the most educated decision. You need to have a setter that calls them, acknowledges the application, creates the WhatsApp group instantly, and tells them how they can solve it with its sales asset that they sent them. And then you're the one carrying on the conversation from there. So what you're basically doing is framing them in a specific way before the call. You're either setting expectation or you're getting them to take action. And you either do that by saying, like, setting expectation of what you can do for them, or you're doing, like, this is the type of person that we work with. They make fast decisions. Poor people stay broke because they make slow decisions. That's something, an example of them getting them to take action. So you can kind of build these assets out, whether you just like want to build them on your Miro boards or you want to do them on a resource like this, whatever you kind of feel is best. But
Mm.
overall, I think probably because they see that on your YouTube, I want to keep it to your Miro boards because that's what they're used to with you. Everything's kind of
Right.
on, it's on the same trend.
Right.
So that is, let me go back to this. So basically, yeah, those are the 4 pillars. This is the type of content that you need to create that I kind of went through the last day. This is like, if you're to take anything from this doc, just literally try and copy the 5 things here.
Right.
Number 1, your flex content. You're living in the result. Fucking perfect. You live in Miami. You make money. Demo of how you did it. What result? Talking outcomes. You need to be able to showcase it. Perfect. Make sure you obviously show Miami. Expertise content. You showcase that you know your shit. You have a case study, that you use podcasts. This is like association stuff. Like you, who you're networking with. You have a clip of you in a podcast. Use all this stuff to show that you're an expert. You need to be confident as fuck with this, which you are. Perfect. This is why you're gonna crush this, because you have all these characteristics. But you have the flex content, Miami. You have the expertise content of you know what you're talking about. You've studied, like you can go through a case study here,
Mm.
or a few case studies. You can just show loads of screenshots of your wins, and you literally show like a podcast of you talking. Like that's just authority because you're in a podcast. Whatever. I know that was for fitness, but still utilize it. It's all about credibility. It's all about leverage. Next one is being the character. This is great because you, again, you kind of look like the character. You're in great shape.
Mm.
You're the same age as them. You know kind of who you're talking to because your videos are very specifically towards young men. I would, like, that's probably why you're attracting slightly broke people, because we're maybe talking to people too young. I seen one
Mm.
of your YouTube videos, like, if you're, it was good, but like
Under
it was like
18.
if you're 18 and have
Yeah.
like less than 1,000, that's gonna obviously attract broke people. So what I would do is just make sure we're being conscious of the messaging to where we're attracting people that are obviously of that age, but they potentially have some money, and they, because like we have options, like you have a downsell to 1.5k, and like the 4k can be split up as well. Like it's not like we're asking for a lot of money, and as
Mm.
long as you just stack a bunch of clients, get a bit of momentum, potentially upgrade your lifestyle again and really level up, then people will like continue to flood in, and the momentum will only just
Yep.
keep going.
Yep.
So basically, these are the 5 things.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put this doc in WhatsApp for you to kind of create these assets, but I kind of want to let you like think of them yourself because you know your audience. To be honest, like bro, I'm 20, but I'm not kind of probably exactly because I'm not. There's something a little bit different about Europe to America,
Right.
and I know that you know who you're talking to. Just follow these lines when it comes to like looking back at your past sales call. Ask why people don't sign up every time and go back to why it is. And look, you said that people don't have the money. There's also a case of people not having the money and we can pre-qualify them, but there's also, I guarantee you, a portion of people who had the money, but they either didn't have the money or they didn't have enough reason to try and get the money because everybody can. I've seen it time and time again. Everyone can get the money if they desperately want it. So, but obviously there's some people that don't, and that's just the nature of the game. So basically, if you're to take anything from this doc, just obviously, read through it.
Hmm.
It's quite short, but it's going to get you to just understand that the actually, you know what? Just honestly read through those two things there: the value first sales cycle, which is literally the flex, expertise being the character, etc., and the four pillars, just to get you to kind of understand exactly how the process should run. And once you have those assets, then we'll look at creating follow up assets that you can send to people, but also assets that we're going to be able to send into the WhatsApp group before the event that really nurtures people and shows off who you are and basically the lifestyle that you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I do gotta run.
Yeah, no,
Can't
all
finish it
good,
fully
bro.
up. I gotta get on this call.
Yeah, bro, no worries. So what we'll do is we'll have a call on. I'm going to send you a voice note with action steps, and I'll send you that doc.
Okay.
But you can see obviously there's a bit of work to be done, but it's kind
Oh
of
yeah.
perfect that you're home right now, and then
Yep.
we'll get going for that. Okay,
Yep. Yep. I got everything.
sweet,
I'm
bro.
all ready
I'll
to
speak to you
go.
on Tuesday. Okay.
All right, Ted. Appreciate you.
Yep. No worries, bro.
Thank you.